प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय। श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय। सबको इसी तरह a very warm, cordial welcome is extended to each and every one of you. Those of you who have joined us face to face here at the Krishna Mandir, 40 Todd Street, San Fernando, we welcome you. Bhagwanji's blessings to you. Those of you who are joining with us online, either on YouTube or on Facebook, again, we extend a very warm and cordial welcome to you. And to those devotees who may be viewing this stream sometime during the course of the week after a Sunday morning service live, again, we extend very warm greetings to you all. This morning, we've come in the presence of Bhagwan to engage in puja, to engage in satsang and in kirtan. And as we do so with that deep sense of thanksgiving to Bhagwan for all of the gifts that have been bestowed upon us, we dedicate ourselves once more to him and to his lotus-like feet. We commit ourselves to the tenets of Sanatana Dharma, to live that life that is truthful and compassionate and noble. And as we do all of these things, we remember those persons who are less fortunate than ourselves, those persons who are engaged in some sort of undertaking, those persons who for one reason or the other may have some difficulty or some hardship or suffering some loss. We pray for them as well this morning. For those who are present, we invite you to stand as we engage in invocation mantras. Those of you joining us at home, if you're in your puja room as well, you may do likewise as we engage now in invocation. Hari Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah. Om Shri Saraswate Namah. Om Shri Guru Charan Kamalebhyo Namah. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvara Jayanti Mangala Kali Bhadrakali Kapalini Durga Kshama Shiva Dhatri Swaha Swadhanamostute Vasudevasutam Devam Kamsachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadguru Nagindraharaya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaragaya Tasmai Nakara Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandramabhedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaye Pataye Namaha. Om Manojavam Marutatulia Vegyam Jetindriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Varadiyutamukam Shri Ramadutam Shirishi Namami. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Those present may resume your seats. As we engage now in Kirtan, we join together in glorifying the name of Bhagwan.
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे. 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 ब्रह्मा भी आए विष्णु भी आए,
ब्रह्मा भी आए विष्णु भी आए,
संग में आए सरस्वती आनंद राजी गोविंद राधे, संग में आए सरस्वती आनंद राजी
गोविंद राधे,
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, राम भी आए लक्ष्मण भी आए,
राम भी आए लक्ष्मण भी आए,
संग में आए सीता सती आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, संग में आई सीता सती आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे। बंसी बजावत कृष्ण भी आए, बंसी बजावत कृष्ण भी आए, संग में आए राधा रानी आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, संग में आए राधा रानी आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, नाचत आए गणपति
आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे,
संकट मोचन बजरंगी आए,
संकट मोचन बजरंगी आए,
भक्त की संग देनी शक्ति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, भक्ति की संग देनी शक्ति आनंद राजे
गोविंद राधे,
नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे, नाचत आए गणपति आनंद राजे गोविंद राधे।
प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. As we continue to glorify Bhagwan's name, let us continue to join together, clap and glorify as we sing his praises.
We join in reciting the Durga Chalisa. Jai Shri Durga Ambika Jagat Palini Mat Tumaro Chalisa Rachu Ki Jai Mohi Sanat Namo Namo Durgi Sukha Karini Namo Namo Ambe Dukha Harini निरंकार है ज्योति तुम्हारी तीनों लोक फैली उजियारी चंद्र ललाट मुख महाविशाल नेत्र लाल भृकुटी विकराला रूप मात्र को अधिक सुहावे दर्श करत जन अति सुख पावे
तुम गौरी शिव शंकर प्यारी, शिव योगी तुम्हारी गुण गावे, ब्रह्मा विष्णु तुम्ही निज ध्यावे। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मैया, जय अम्बे जगदम्बे।
रूप सरस्वती का तुम धारा, देसुरी ऋषि मुनि न उबारा, धरो रूप नरसिंहा अम्मा, प्रगट भये पार्वती के खम्बा। रक्षा कर प्रहलाद बचायो, हिरण्याकुश को स्वर्ग पठायो। लक्ष्मी रूप धारो जग माही, श्री नारायण अंग समाही। जय अम्बे
जगदम्बे मैया, जय अम्बे जगदम्बे।
क्षीर सिंधु में गरित विलासा,
दया सिंधु दीजे मन आसा,
हिंगलाज में तुम ही भवानी, महिमा अमित न जात बखानी। मातंगी धूमावती माता, भुवनेश्वरी भला सुखदाता। श्री भैरव
तारा जगतारण,
जिन भाल भवरूप निवारण। जय अम्बे
जगदम्बे
ओ मैया, जय अम्बे जगदम्बे। हे हरि वाहन सोहि भवानी, लांगुर वीर चलत अगवानी। कर मेघा पर कर गविराजे, जाको देख काल दरबाजे। सोहे और अष्ट त्रिशूला, जाते उठत शत्रु शूला। नवर कोटि में तुम ही विराजत, तीन लोक में दंता बाजत। जय अम्बे
जगदम्बे
ओ मैया, जय अम्बे
जगदम्बे।
शुंभनि शुंभ दानव तुम मारे, रक्त बीज संखन संहारे। महिषासुर नृप अति अभिमानी, जहियत भार मही अकुलाली। रूप करागारी गोधारा, सैन्य सहित तुम तेहि संहारा। परिकर संतन पर जब जब, वैसाहे मातु तुम तब तब। जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मैया, जय अम्बे
जगदम्बे।
आभरपुरी और वासव लोका, तब महिमा सब कहे अशोका। ज्वाला में है ज्योति तुम्हारी, तुम ही सदा पूजत नर नारी। प्रेम भक्ति से जो जस गावे, दुख दारिद्र विगत नहीं आवे। ध्यावे तुम जो नर मन लाए,
जन्म मरण
ते सोचुति जाई। जय अम्बे
जगदम्बे
ओ मैया,
चितायो जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मैया जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
शरणागत
हुई कीर्ति बखानी जय 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 जगदम्बा भवानी
मयि प्रसन्नादि जगदम्बा दय शक्ति नहीं कीन विलम्बा को मात कष्ट अधिकीरा तुम बिन कौन हरे दुख मेरा
आशा कृष्ण निपथ सतावे रिपु मूर्ख मोहि अधिधर पावे जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मैया जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
शत्रुनाश की जय महारानी
सुमिरो एक चित तुम्हारी भवानी करो कृपा ही मातु दयाला रिद्धि सिद्धि करहु निहाला
जब लग जियो
दया फल पाओ तुम्हारो यश में सदा सुनाओ दुर्गा चालीसा जो गावे सब सुख भोग परम पद पावे देवी दास शरणागत जानी करहु कृपा जगदम्ब भवानी जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मैया जय अम्बे जगदम्बे जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मैया जय अम्बे जगदम्बे जय अम्बे जगदम्बे मैया जय अम्बे जगदम्बे
प्रेम से बोले जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय. This morning, before we begin pravachan, we have a very wonderful devotee, a very young lady, who will be celebrating her birthday later this month. Auntie will be 95 years old on the 12th of March. So please give her a round of applause. This morning, she is here together with some of her family members, and she sat this morning to perform puja. And Auntie, may Bhagwan continue to bless you at age 95, the ability to sit and to perform puja yourself with all of your faculties intact, and to be able to do so in a very focused and deliberate manner comes through the blessings of Bhagwan. In her day, Auntie was renowned as a singer par excellence, and I will now ask members of our technical team if a microphone could be passed to her as she renders a bhajan for us and in glory of Bhagwan. So while the members of the technical team prepare themselves for doing that, we all, if we can, join together with Auntie as these verses are being sung as she glorifies Bhagwan's name. So I'll hand over to her now.
Krishna Bhagwan ki jai. Yavo yavo he Prabhu, bolo bolo he Prabhu, mohe lage lagan Bhagwan se. Yavo yavo he Prabhu, bolo bolo he Prabhu, mohe lage lagan Bhagwan se. Mohe lage lagan Bhagwan se. Mohe lage lagan Bhagwan se. Yavo yavo he Vishnu, bolo bolo he Lakshmi, mohe lage lagan Bhagwan se. Yavo yavo he Prabhu, bolo bolo he Prabhu, mohe भगवान से हो हे रामा बोलो बोलो हे सीता मोहे लागे लगन भगवान से हो हे रामा बोलो बोलो हे सीता मोहे लागे लगन भगवान से मोहे लागे लगन भगवान से मोहे लागे लगन भगवान से हो हे कृष्णा बोलो बोलो हे राधा मोहे लागे लगन भगवान से हो हे कृष्णा बोलो बोलो हे राधा मोहे लागे लगन भगवान से कृष्ण भगवान की जय
प्रेम से बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Auntie, may Bhagwan continue to bless you with good health, continue to bless you with the ability to inspire so many, not only your children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren, but indeed all persons that you come into contact with. Happy birthday in advance as you celebrate on the 12th of March and having performed puja this morning. Brothers and sisters, it is a good segue into our pravachan this morning, very brief, but I invite us all to sit upright as we focus our mind on Prabhu Shri Ram this morning. Hari Om Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandra Mavedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaye Pataye Namaha Sitaye Pataye Namaha Sitaye Pataye Namaha. Prem se bole Shri Ramachandra Bhagwan ki jai. In Ramcharitmanas, we are very familiar with the Katha, where Raja Dashrath, observing himself as the king of Ayodhya, that he was growing old and it was time to appoint a successor to fill his place as the king of Ayodhya. And upon being advised by his ministers, decided that Prabhu Shri Ram was the most suitable, equipped with all of the desirable qualities to replace him. And so arrangements were being made, as we are well aware, for the coronation of Prabhu Shri Ram. And then that intervention occurred, where Kekai Mata was persuaded by Mantra herself being influenced by Saraswati Ma, so that Kekai Mata would ask of Raja Dashrath those boons which were promised to her many years ago before. The boons being that Prabhu Shri Ram should be banished to the forest for a period of 14 years and that Bharat should be crowned as the king of Ayodhya. We're familiar as well with how much Raja Dashrath would have pleaded with Kekai Mata, and indeed many of us hold the view that Kekai Mata was very, very hard-hearted and cold and calculated in her insistence that those boons should be fulfilled. But we know that this was a leela that had to be carried out. What I want to focus on would have been Prabhu Shri Ram's reaction to that situation. Visualize yourself in a situation or a circumstance where everything is going your way. You are on top of the world, so to speak. He was just married. He was the beloved son of Ayodhya. Everything was going his way, and now that announcement was being made that he was going to be coronated as the king of Ayodhya. It couldn't have gotten better than that. And then in the blink of an eye, unknown to him, those circumstances changed. And so when he was summoned before his father and saw his father in such a state of bereavement, or such a state of grief, that he was inconsolable and trying to understand what could have led his father to that position, only to be told that you, Prabhu Shri Ram, are to be exiled into the forest. You are not to be crowned as the king, and everything that you hold near and dear to you, those luxuries that you have become accustomed to, will now be removed from you instantly. Think of yourselves, brothers and sisters, if you were put in a similar circumstance where everything that you held and hold so near and dear and cherished to you is about to be taken away, whatever it be. If as a worker your job is to be lost, if unfortunately and tragically, as has happened, your loved one is removed from your presence physically. If you're a business person, your business is gone. If some aspect fundamental to your health is now seriously questioned or removed, how would we react? How would we react? And the reality is, for many of us, that reaction would not be one along a similar line of Prabhu Shri Ram. Because when we listen to the Katha, and time doesn't permit us to go into it, Prabhu Shri Ram, on hearing what was troubling his father, he smiled. And he said, "Is this all that is troubling you? I am so fortunate to have the opportunity to be able to help my father honor his words and his promise. I have the ability to be of service to my father, and this exile that is now being cast upon me is one that I will take and assume with much pleasure." Incredible. How many of us can react in a similar vein? In life, brothers and sisters, we are often presented with challenges. We are often presented with changed circumstance which test our mettle and test our caliber of reaction. And sometimes when we are tested in that way, we come up wanting. This last couple weeks gone by, we had this very tragic situation that occurred at Paria. And many things continue to flow from that. And what is important now for many people is, who should blame be ascribed to? Who is at fault? Who is wrong? And the truth of the matter is, we may never really know. We may never really know what went wrong. But what we do know is that those unfortunate persons, those 4 brave souls who have lost their lives, have left family members behind. That we do know. They've left their loved ones behind. And the challenge for those loved ones now will be for them to determine, how do I go on? What do I do? How do I continue living? For the sole survivor who attended the funeral of one of his colleagues yesterday, he is going to be faced with that very, very difficult task of, how do I continue, knowing that I was the only one of that group of 5 that survived. How does he continue? And for many of us who have lost loved ones in tragic circumstances, that becomes a question of, how do we cope? How is this fair? How could God be so unjust? How could this be equitable, that I could lose someone so quickly in the blink of an eye? How do I react? And as I said, we have different choices to make about that reaction. The choice is ours. How do we react? And instantaneously, like Raja Dashrath was when he was faced with this difficult situation, we could react in grief. We can react in anger. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is part of our human nature and our emotions that must come out. But then when that time is over, how do we continue on? Do we continue on with a sense of bitterness? Do we continue on with a sense of not caring? Or do we recognize that in this mystery of life, that is part of what is going on? And we must therefore understand what our role in that entire scenario is when we are faced with circumstances like that. Continue on we must, but how? In a similar way, this pandemic has taught many of us, those persons who've lost their loved ones, those persons who may have lost their jobs or their streams of revenue, those persons who are business persons that have lost their businesses, many, many millions of persons across the globe, not tens or hundreds or thousands, but millions, have been affected in that way. Each of us have been touched. And as we in this country continue forward, we keep asking the question, was all of this necessary? Could things have been done differently? Why the need for all of these restrictions? And we still ask these questions. But are there any things that have been learned from this situation? How do we continue on? How do we move forward? For the students who write examinations very often, and the younger ones are writing SEA, the secondary entrance assessment, at the end of this month. And very often persons look at examinations as a sense of defining them and who they are. And that's unfortunate, and I'm saying it now because those exams are approaching. And that is a high-stake final exam. It's either you perform well on that day or you don't. And for many children, the unfortunate position is that you are defined by how you perform on that one day. You are defined by how you perform on that one day, and that can never be right. That could never be right. That is not a true assessment of a child or a child's ability. And therefore, very often, children are being placed with that stress and with that pressure that I must perform. Parents and teachers sometimes outwardly and unconsciously place that sense of expectation on the shoulders of those small children. And if they do not perform, then there's a heavy blow and a heavy load that they carry. And that is unfortunate at the age of 10, 11, 12, or even 13. And then you go forward with other examinations of a similar character, CSEC, CAPE, and others. When those children don't perform as is being expected, then how do they move on from that point? How do they move on from that difficult situation? And again, choices are there. Do they lift themselves up? Do they go on? Or are they then labeled by virtue of that one performance? And let's think about these things. Because in this society, globally, persons are defined sometimes in a very narrow way. And that should never be. Because each person is different. Each person adds value in a different way. Auntie at age 95 adds value in a way that I can't, that Ravi can't, that Vinod can't, that Shreya cannot. She adds a different value, and in the same way, each of us add value in a different way. And so the lesson is there for us, exemplified by Prabhu Shri Ram. His circumstances changed very rapidly, very quickly, from one way to another. It was a 180-degree turn. But did that changed circumstance define him? And the answer is no. Did that changed circumstance make him bitter? And the answer is no. Did that changed circumstance and the loss of those things demoralize him to a point where he could no longer function? And the answer again is no. He accepted what was before him. And that is important for us to accept what is before us. Not to blame, not to be cast as a victim, but to accept our changed circumstance. And embracing that circumstance, what did he do? He made the best of it. He made the best of it. So in his exile in the forest, he was able to form alliances. He was able to forge friendships. He was able to uplift others. And eventually, as we know, throughout all of the trials and tribulations, because his exile in the forest was not something that was desirable. He faced many hardships. But at the end of the day, he was triumphant. He vanquished Ravan. Sita Mata was reunited to him. He was crowned the king of Ayodhya. Those are things that we must never lose sight of. What is the concluding factor? And that is what defines us as an individual. How we look at circumstances, how we address it with our mind, and how we move forward. And I'm saying this in the context of where we are now in society, in Trinidad and Tobago. Emerging from a very, very difficult situation. Emerging from a situation where persons have lost their loved ones, where persons have lost opportunities, where many persons, for example, have lost their income, their jobs, their lives, and much, much more. And those who are left behind are there. How do we move forward? And it is with that sense of commitment in Bhagwan and His glory, recognizing who we are and what we are all about, as Prabhu Sri Ram exemplified for us, that we must be mindful about. So this morning, as I conclude, I want us all, Auntie sat and performed Surya Narayan Swami. Today is Sunday morning. She performed that puja. One of the most powerful mantras that can assist us always is the Gayatri mantra. That mantra is most powerful. That mantra, when recited with love, with devotion, with that bhakti, can indeed sustain us, protect us, but more than that, can direct our decision making. To direct our decision making, to always make the proper decisions in life, to make the right choices, to not go down a path that is undesirable. And that is the power and potency of that mantra. In the midst of darkness, in the midst of despair, just as Surya Narayan Swami would emerge to illumine the sky and illumine our lives, that mantra can illumine our heart and illumine our mind. So this morning, brothers and sisters, let us sit upright and together let us chant 5 times that Gayatri mantra as we reflect and indeed as we recognize who we are and as we ask and seek that direction in our lives and that power to make decisions that will uplift us and not decisions that will put us down in a position of despair. We join together. Hari Om. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. As we open our eyes, let us continue to commit to rechanting this mantra every day, as often as we can, to once more allow our mind and our decision-making process to be influenced in a very positive and uplifting way. Before I invite you to come forward and to perform your arati, a couple of announcements. Firstly, those persons who are interested in performing puja on a Sunday morning or havan, you are please invited to see Mr. Sinanan after the service and give your name. He's seated at the back. Those persons who would like to make contributions towards the mandir, again, we welcome your donations and your contributions as they allow us to continue our activities. And again, you can give your contributions through the gentleman at the back. Those persons who are viewing online, we would welcome your contributions. And again, we invite you to reach out to us at the mandir via email, and we would be able to facilitate any donation you would like to make. Members of the management committee, you are reminded that next week, Sunday, we will be having a meeting of the management committee right after service. So all members, you are asked to take note and to please attend. That's next Sunday after service. In addition, you're reminded to take note that yoga class continues tomorrow, Monday evening, from 5:30 p.m. And again, all members of the class or those wishing to join, you can attend from 5:30 p.m. tomorrow. Important ones that I want us now to pay particular attention to. Friday coming, that's this Friday, the Chinmaya Mission have been engaged and are engaged in 108 nights of Ramayana Satsang, where they're moving to various venues throughout the length and breadth of this country. And this Friday coming, the 11th of March, they will be hosted here at the Mandir, being hosted by the Sri Sivak Sabha and the Krishna Mandir jointly. So you are all invited to attend. Swami Prakashananda will be here to deliver the discourse and the pravachan, and he will be here on Friday evening. So you're asked to come for 6:30. Anne-Marie, is it 6:30? 6:30 p.m. There will be chanting by members of the Vidyalaya before he begins. And then from 7 o'clock, the pravachan of Swamiji will commence. So you're all invited to please come for 6:30 and to be here for that wonderful, wonderful evening to be officiated by Swami Prakashananda. So that's this Friday, Friday 11th from 6:30 p.m. So please be here. On Sunday following, that's Sunday the 13th, all students who are writing the SEA examinations, we will be having Saraswati Mata Puja, and that will be on Sunday evening from 4 p.m. So all students who are interested, again, because of the protocols, you will be performing your individual puja. So emails have been sent out, messages on our social media have been sent out about what is required. So please be here at 4 p.m. on Sunday evening, that's Sunday the 13th, and you will be performing your Saraswati Mata Puja. As we know, Karwas begins later and ends on the 31st, with Navaratri beginning on the 1st. So hence the reason we're performing Saraswati Mata Puja this Sunday coming, that's the 13th of March from 4 p.m. And then finally, as we've been doing, the Social Outreach Committee of the Mandir, they are once more hosting the mobile unit of the blood bank, and they will be here on Saturday the 26th of March. Saturday the 26th of March, they're here for the entire day, and we would invite all persons who are regular donors to please take a note of that date so that you can register. Those persons who have never donated before, it is a wonderful opportunity. There's absolutely no adverse effects of doing it, and by donating a unit, you can actually save a life. And as I said some weeks ago, sometimes we do not recognize the benefit of doing this, not only for ourselves but our loved ones, until unfortunate circumstances hit, and then we are looking around for persons to donate blood. And if you do so, if you donate the blood, you will have that facility available to you and members of your family. If they are ever in need, you would have that available to them. So we invite you please to take note. That's the 26th of March. So you could start preparing yourselves in terms of making sure your iron levels are fine, that your blood pressure level is fine. And remember, if you're still on medication for any of those things, you still can give and you still can donate a unit of blood. So the 26th of March, the mobile unit would be here. Finally, those who are interested in purchasing Mandir t-shirts or masks, they are available on sale, as are religious calendars for this current year. And if you're interested in purchasing Mandir t-shirts or masks, you can see Mr. Babulal right after service. He's here this morning. And if you want to purchase the calendars, again, you can see any of the gentlemen at the back. They will assist you in that regard. So those are the main announcements. Please take note of them. Those viewing online as well. And please, you can share those invitations to your family members, your friends, and so on, so that they could join with us in these activities. We look forward once more to boosting our attendance now that the restrictions are being eased somewhat. We still have to wear our masks. We still should maintain that physical distancing. But as with the rest of the world, the restrictions are being eased, understanding that COVID-19 is here with us, and it is something that we will have to live with going forward. We just need to adjust how we do that. So at this juncture, I'd now hand over to the group as they continue with Kirtan. And those of you who are coming up to perform your arti, again, please put on the gloves, sanitize before you do so, go to the murtis, perform your arti, physically spaced, and when you're finished and you come back down, dispose of the gloves, sanitize your hands, and then resume your seat. So I hand over to members of the group for the next 15 minutes or so as they engage in Kirtan. Jai Sita Ramon.
ऐसी बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी।
कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी।
कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसी बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी।
देखो कुंवर कन्हाई कैसे रास रचाई, ऐसे तान सुनाई सुध बुध सब विसराई।
देखो कुंवर कन्हाई ऐसी थान सुनाई,
सुध बुध सब विसराई। बाका ओ छैला निराला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी।
कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी।
कान्हा कृष्ण मुरारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी, काई मटकी तोड़ी सुनते मीती गाड़ी।
कान्हा कृष्ण मुरारी गोवर्धन गिरधारी, काहे मत की थोड़ी सुनती मीठी गारी।
आए बरे ब्रिज वाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी। कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी। माखन चोर दुलारा नटखट सबका प्यारा, मन मोहन मन भावन नाम रते जग सारा।
माखन चोर दुलारा नटखट सबका प्यारा, मन मोहन मन भावन नाम रते जग सारा।
माधव मुकुंद मत वाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी। कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी। कान्हा कन्हैया नंद लाला ओ मुरली वाला ऐसे बजाए मुरली, मुरलिया जादू भरी, मुरलिया जादू भरी, मुरलिया जादू भरी।
केशवा हरि नंद लाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला केशवा हरि नंद लाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला गोपाला भजो गिरधारी गोपाला केशवा हरि नंद लाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला मथुरा में हरि जन्म लियो है गोकुल झूले गोकुल झूले नंद लाला केशवा हरि नंद लाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला और मुकुट पीतांबर सोहे गले वैजंती माला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला जमुना की तीर धेनु चरावे मुरली बजाए नंद लाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला शरणागत प्रतिपाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला 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 भजो गिरधारी गोपाला भजो गिरधारी गोपाला भजो केशवा हरि नंद लाला हरि नंद लाला हे राम मेरे मन राम बसे हे राम मेरे मन राम बसे मेरे मन राम बसे मेरे मन राम बसे हे राम राम नाम जप लीजिए प्राणी, राम नाम जप लीजिए प्राणी, भौतिक पात कटे, भौतिक पात कटे, मेरे मन राम बसे, हे राम, हे राम, मेरे मन राम बसे। जन्म जन्म की अत जो पुरानी, जन्म जन्म की अत जो पुरानी, नाम ही लेते कते, नाम ही लेते कते, मेरे मन राम बसे, हे राम, हे राम, मेरे मन राम बसे। कनक कतोरी अमृत बरियो, कनक कतोरी अमृत बरियो, पीवत कौन नते, पीवत कौन नते, मेरे मन राम बसे, हे राम, हे राम, मेरे मन राम बसे। मीरा के प्रभु हर अविनाशी, मीरा के प्रभु हर अविनाशी, तन मन ताहि पते, तन मन ताहि पते, मेरे मन राम बसे, हे राम, हे राम, मेरे मन राम बसे। राम 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 बोलो, राम राम राम, राम 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 बोलो, राम राम राम, श्याम 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 राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम, श्याम 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 राधे श्याम श्याम श्याम, राम 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 बोलो, राम राम राम, राम 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 बोलो, राम राम राम, राम 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 बोलो, राम राम राम, राम 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 बोलो, राम राम राम।
प्रेम से बोले श्री रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। As we get ready for final arti and I invite persons to stand. This morning we are indeed very, very fortunate to have the ability to come and to worship God with all of our faculties intact. We pray this morning for all those persons, as we said, who may be overcoming and experiencing some difficulty. This morning we wanted to give our greetings and commendations to Auntie, who will be celebrating her 95th birthday, as we said, on Saturday coming. But also we want to wish happy birthday and birthday greetings to a devotee, Mr. Amarlal Prasad, the dad of Amral. He this week had, on Tuesday, very major surgery, open heart surgery, and he is viewing us now from Mount Hope, where he's recovering. And Amarlal, as you are viewing us and as you will be celebrating your birthday on Friday, may Bhagwan continue to bless you, that you will have a full and speedy recovery, that you will indeed enjoy the protection of Bhagwan, and that you will continue to be blessed by him. Let us all now engage in final arti.
Om Jai Jagadish Hari, Swami Jai Jagadish Hari, भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट, क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरि, जो ध्यावे फल पावे, दुख बिन से मन का। स्वामी दुख बिन से मन का, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, सुख संपत्ति घर आवे, कष्ट मिटे तन का। ओम जय जगदीश हरि, माता पिता तुम मेरी, शरण गहो किसकी। स्वामी शरण गहो किसकी, तुम बिन और न दूजा, तुम बिन और न दूजा, आस करो जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरि, तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा, तुम अंतर्यामी। स्वामी तुम अंतर्यामी, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर, तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरि, विषय विकार मिटाओ, पाप हरो देवा। स्वामी पाप हरो देवा, श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ, श्रद्धा प्रेम बढ़ाओ, संतन की सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरि, तन मन धन सब है तेरा। स्वामी सब कुछ है तेरा, तेरा तुझको अर्पण, तेरा तुझको अर्पण, क्या लागे मेरा। ओम जय जगदीश हरि, ओम जय जगदीश हरि। स्वामी जय जगदीश हरि, भक्त जनों के संकट, दास जनों के संकट, क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरि, ओम जय जगदीश हरि, ओम जय जगदीश हरि।
Om Vishwani Deva Savidudadani Parasuva Yet Bhadram Dhanasva. O Prabhu, you are mother and father, you are family, you are friend. You are knowledge, you are wealth, you are everything to us. We pray, giving thanks to you this morning for all of the blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We ask for your continued blessing, guidance, inspiration and direction. May you uplift us to overcome all difficulties, all sankat. May we always be immersed in your glory and in your mercy. We join together in prayer, brothers and sisters. Hari Om. Tvameva Mata Shapita Tvameva बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ शांति 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 हरि ओम। प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय, श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय, श्री सूर्य नारायण स्वामी की जय। प्रेम से बोले श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। To introduce around you सबको जय सीताराम, जय सीताराम, जय सीताराम। You all have a very powerful, a very safe week ahead. We look forward to seeing you with us on Friday coming for satsang, and then again on Sunday next for our regular Sunday morning service. Jai Sitaram all.
बार बार दिल ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, बार बार दिल ये आए, बार बार दिल ये गाए, तो जिए हजारों साले मेरी है आरज़ू। हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू, हैप्पी बर्थडे to you, happy birthday.